I'm Dr. William Bradshaw. I am a visiting associate professor of real estate development. I have a joint appointment between the School of Business and the Sustainable Real Estate Development Program in the Tulane School of Architecture. I teach entirely from my experience, and I'm a random dude. Like, I have a lot of weird experience, right? I have an undergraduate degree in physics and an undergraduate degree in writing. Got into real estate development sort of by accident, but also it's the only thing my family's ever done other than teach on either side for 5 generations. Part of what I try to think about is when you're learning something, particularly something that has a level of abstraction or a level of not everyday experience to it, it's useful to hear other people's real stories, right? It's useful to hear about things they screwed up, the things that went wrong, and so that's the experience that I try to bring to the classroom, and to tell stories about ways I screwed stuff up, ways other people screwed stuff up, and the ways we got things right, how that works into the somewhat abstract concepts that we could otherwise be talking about, like how do you put together a financial pro forma, right? Like, it's more useful to know, like, hey, if you don't do this, no one will ever invest in your deal. Let me tell you stories about that, and then bring it back around. We are not just a real estate development program, we're a sustainable real estate development program, but it's about how are you a responsible professional in this environment where you need to navigate issues of race and racial equity and gender equity, the kind of health of the planet, the health of our communities. How can you do that in a way that really pushes forward this field that most people don't really think about, but has a huge impact on everyone's daily life? My classes are always focused broadly on a couple of issues. The overarching issue is how do you convince other people to give you their money in order to do what you want to do? And so we focus a lot on what are those steps, what do they look like, how do you participate in them, how do you coordinate the team members that are in them, and then how do you kind of disassemble that team when they've done their work. So that's primarily what we end up talking about. You know, I specialize in different parts of it in different classes. At the end of the day, there are kind of 2 ways to develop real estate. One of them is to just start with a lot of money. If you didn't start with a lot of money, then you have to get other people to give you some, right? So if you're in the how do you get other people to give you some boat, we're focused on what are the steps in actually achieving that end. That the program really is focused, and the faculty, I think in particular, are very deeply focused on a kind of proactive vision of a future world. The program works best when people bring that kind of commitment to a vision of a future world, a place that is more equitable, that is more sustainable, that works better for everyone, and real estate development becomes a tool for achieving that end. This kind of shared vision of a future world is, I think, the core aspect of the program, and people who really excel here are people who have a kind of similar vision for how things ought to be.